remind yourself to record.
Right. Yeah, we are recording. We're recording. We're recording. Anyone?
Yes,
Anyone? Yeah, we are recording. Not enough hot cocoa today. Too much coffee.
All right, let's go ahead and kick this beauty off. Welcome everyone to the last MVP office hours of 2022. It's December 16th, and we are excited to have you all join us. As always, myself and our good friends Joy and Dale. Say hi, Joy and Dale.
Hi, Joy and Dale.
Are here to try to help in any way that we can. If you need our attention, please use Twitter, or as people are moving away from Twitter, Dale's leveraging LinkedIn. The MVP Office Hours Twitter channel is still open. You can also use the email, but we always suggest using Success Community as the first start. It's a great way to make sure that everyone sees your question. You might get answers quicker than waiting every 2 weeks, and it's just a good way to interact. So. Next call will be the 6th of January, right after New Year's. We're hoping everybody can join us. As always, we ask everyone to participate, share your thoughts, your knowledge, your experience, your questions with the group. You can post whatever you want to in the chat, and that'll help develop all those questions. We'll try to put all of it into the notes for the slides. If you do have a question, you can put it in the chat and we'll get to you in sequence. Or just raise your hand and we'll call you out when we get to you. We recommend that you share, but always remember, don't share anything that's private. This is recorded. We don't want anybody getting in trouble for sharing proprietary information or data or anything else that's going to be on the internet forever and ever and ever. And then most importantly, we want to have fun and we want to be as informal and helpful as possible, but try to keep it as professional as possible so that we don't also have that recording in the eternity as we're talking about our favorite users. So. The bit.ly link is still the best way to make sure that you get subscribe to the next meeting, and if it's not already on your calendar every single week, check out that link, bit.ly/MVP office hours. All right, community events. So after last week when I commented that there weren't many listed, they all showed up this week. So the next quarter is fully loaded. We've got Cactus Force, Japan Dreaming, Snow Force, Kiwi, and Albania Dreaming coming up in the first quarter. Texas Dreaming in May. Trailblazer DX is scheduled for March 7th. And hopefully that there are a lot of us planning to go, and if not do the boot camp, at least be part of the learning and the collaboration and the networking. Dreamforce is in September, worry about that. But always keep the community conferences and the Salesforce events links that are available on Trailhead handy, because that's the best way to stay up to date on all that information. And lastly, for announcements, we want to say thank you to everyone who's ever joined a call. This is a great opportunity for us to engage. It's a great opportunity to learn. I know personally my career has been significantly impacted by all the time I've spent in office hours. We hope that you're leaving these meetings smiling and a little bit more knowledgeable and building that network. So happy holidays to all of you, and thank you for all your time and efforts and just being awesome. So, all right. And with that, we'll jump to the only call that I'm aware of, which is from Marty in email. I didn't see if Marty joined.
Oh, Marty is on.
Marty's with us.
All right.
Marty's here.
Unfortunately, Marty, you're not going to get the answer you like to hear, because there's a ton to know about this. And I don't think it'd be fair to say it's just going to happen and it's going to be okay, any more than it'd be okay to say there's a ton coming. So I'm just going to dive in really quick. I put a bunch of stuff in the slide deck and we'll make this available. But if you go to the release updates link and go to the deploy enhanced domains help thing, everything there is important. It'll walk you through everything you want to know. Most importantly, though, and if I could change screens here, there's a couple links that I think are really important. So there's a whole write-up on enhanced domain in general. It's not overly long, but it might be overkill, but I would scan that. There's a link specifically for updating your org when there's the domain change. and that's the standard domain changes that you get when your instance cycles. That covers pretty much everything that they're asking you to do in enhanced domains as far as like considerations and warnings. And so that article, as well as the plan for my domain change link, all of these are available in that release updates list. And then the considerations for enhanced domains is a subsection of the enhanced domains write-up. That's going to cover all the things that you should be aware of, and it's going to give you examples of the URLs as far as what they looked like before and what they're going to look like after the forced release. All that boils down to that first bullet here, which says the change is going to affect application URLs, APIs, Experience Cloud sites, I should say, not will, could, sites, Salesforce sites, Visualforce pages, content files, some third-party applications, and SSO configurations. Basically, anything that has a reference to your old URL as a hard-coded URL, not a relative URL, could be impacted. Big deep breath. So, having said all of that, does that help at all? Do you have lots of questions?
Yes, I saw that stuff, and I thought that you answered my question exactly. Do I care about all that other stuff? And the answer is yes.
Yeah. Now, fortunately, as of summer 23, so summer, spring, winter, it's been about a year. It's been automatically enabled for non-prod orgs and all of your sandboxes, whether it's a production sandbox or a sandbox from Trailhead or whatever. So hopefully, without even realizing, you've been testing because those sandboxes either wouldn't be working or you wouldn't be doing the things you tried to do while your standard work is happening, but you haven't really checked the boxes unless you verify. So
Great, thank you very much.
I'm glad this was mentioned because I'm concerned about it too. And I think I read a article where you can opt out of the next release of this. So for winter, or what's the next release? Is it winter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
spring 23.
You can opt out so it doesn't go into effect if you need more time to test and review and understand the process. So I think they give you one more, but you have to enable the opt out, and I'm gonna hunker down and look for where that setting is to just educate myself a little bit more on the whole process.
yeah.
I feel like it's being rushed a little bit, even though it probably isn't. I just feel like I'm being rushed to do it.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
any day now they'll probably send we're postponing the requirement.
Yeah.
it's been in the release updates for almost 18 months, and that first deadline was,
Right.
I believe, the winter 23 release. So, I mean, it seems like it's rushing, but it hasn't. And I would also offer that opting out personally makes me nervous because it really makes it feel like you can get to it later, but then it falls completely off your radar. And so if you opt out, you should be, if you're using Kanban or whatever, you should be making a real-time action item to say, we're opting out, but we're going to try to get there as soon as possible.
Yep, valid.
Anybody have any challenges, problems, insights to this conversion that they want to share?
Just do a lot of testing. I mean, this is where you you talk to your vendors and such. I added another note. I see that Dale's typing it in, but also around this time, there's things like this SAML SSO release update that's happening around the same time. Again, like test these things. If you've got backup vendors like Own Backup or things like that you've got integration connections with, you'll want them to know that you're doing these changes or that you're putting these release changes in, because you might have IP targets between all your different vendors that you're working with. So it's just a matter of test in sandbox, test in your staging environments, and make sure you've got all the right things set up.
For the visual learners like myself, does anybody know if there's any kind of visual diagrams or anything out there that show the relationships between like SAML, SSO, enhanced domain, like all the things, so that to start to give admins and architects and developers something of an idea of the domino effect of some of these things. Like I love that you and Chris both sent these out, but I think there's a lot for people to learn of how they're actually interconnected, just to make absolutely sure they've covered all their bases. Does anybody know if that exists?
I would bet that there's a lot of overlap in terminology, but not direct technical overlap. So there probably isn't like a picture of that.
Gotcha.
Um,
I will fully own my ignorance on that as well, but there might be somebody else who's asking. So
yeah, no,
The other problem is it's different for every organization, slightly. I mean, yes, I mean, so in general, those security frameworks work the same, but you can configure them differently.
okay.
That's a really great question. Let me do some digging on that.
I am quickly scanning. I thought the opt-out link was in the release update, but I'm not seeing it immediately. This is spectacular radio right here. While everyone stares at me, stare at my screen.
Yeah, what's nice about the success group, they've got 2 webinars with the recordings and the decks, and then a lot of the same links that you had shared for reference in there too. So probably a good group to join if you're on the fence of what this actually is doing and need more information. So
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the release of this, by the way, but I know it's like covered in maybe the first page of the enhanced domain like documentation section. So
yeah,
You're looking for the opt-out.
Yeah.
Jack just posted it in chat and I'm adding it
Oh,
to the deck.
Thank you. Perfect.
perfect. Thank you.
All right. I think the other thing that I'm going to call out too, just from the perspective of opting out and the rest of it too, is and this is personally, the biggest challenge we had is that, so at Baird, we support 3 unique orgs and we've got my domains on all of them. And everybody has a bookmark or a cookie or a link or a web page or something they're storing them all. And we made sure that our communication was such that that's on you, user, to change your bookmarks. We can't help that, right? So like lots of like almost an ad card process of it's going to happen. You're aware it's going to happen. When it breaks, here's how you're going to fix it, not come running to us or open support tickets because it's just a URL. We even sent links in the emails to say change your bookmarks to this so that you can get there. And you really want, if you're depending on how engaged your users are, you really want to beat this one to death because it feels like Salesforce is broken and it's not.
Are your users using favorites?
Among other things, yes.
So obviously sounds like an opportunity to really drive home that if you're going to bookmark Salesforce records, use favorites, period, end of sentence, walk away.
Okay, can I ask a really stupid question regarding this and you might know? I thought I read something if you have my domain in prod that made that okay with the enhanced domains and it might be the sandboxes that really are changing. Is that a falsehood that I read or misremembered?
Your my domain still can have, even if you got my domain enabled, you could still have instance related URL bookmarks connected to that. So
what changes if you already have my domain? What changes for enhanced domains? Like what's the difference between those two things?
It really is. So it's not, even though it's the same terminology, they are like they're independent but related. So the best way to think of it is, even though your my domain, squaresorg.my.salesforce.com is the URL, underneath the covers, there's actually a URL being compile that has the old school instance name and your my domain all connected together. And especially when you're looking at like login and logout URLs and SSO and other things, you're going to see it. If you're really quick, when you click a link to log in, you'll see it flash before it redirects to your my domain. All of that's going away with the enhanced domains. Now it's literally just every URL in Salesforce is a standardized enhanced domain URL without instance names implemented. So if you've got something wired either in Apex or Visualforce or wherever that still has that long URL, that's where it's going to step on itself. Being it already having a my domain doesn't mean those URLs aren't still at risk.
So,
Well, that sucks.
well, so I want to make sure that I'm either helping or not hurting Christie's question. What is the behavior post sandbox refresh, knowing that sandboxes inherit whatever from production, but also recalibrate because they know they're sandboxes? Is everything that you just said still gonna be an issue post refresh, or?
So sandboxes are already enabled. Like as soon as you create it, enhanced domains is implemented and all the URLs are switched. So any sandbox you've had for the last year and whatever would have been broken this whole time. You can't even deactivate it. So afterwards, sandboxes are going to do the exact same thing that they've been doing for the last year.
Right, but that trying to get super specific without being picky here. Are you referring to sandboxes that were already active, or because like when you refresh a sandbox, you're starting that sandbox from scratch, however production was at that moment in time?
Except for this checkbox. It's turned on. It's not a mirror of your production in that case.
Gotcha. Okay. I was trying to help Christy, really was.
No, I appreciate it. I'm thinking of someone who hasn't quite gone live and there's just a crap load of APIs and I'm like, wait, they have my domain.
Yeah. So I just posted something in the chat, which is even more disturbing, or is you may think it's working after you do your tests, but you know, Salesforce is still going to do some of those redirects. So it's like, how do you even test if the redirect is really working versus Salesforce just allowing it to redirect? So there's so much to understand, right?
You know if that's actually documented anywhere that we can reference? Or?
Yes, it is. And you can turn off the redirect on your org, which we have done, because we don't really want that redirect. We want to see if those errors occur because we have RPA, so robotics, that are hitting certain pages, and we want to make sure that those pages actually are going to work after October.
The link I just dropped literally lists every possible URL configuration before and after enhanced domains. You can go right through that list and be like, oh, I recognize that. That's going to break. It's long, but you don't have to read every one of them. They're broken up pretty well.
Yeah, Visualforce for sure.
Yeah.
And it's more of the incoming that breaks, right? Like directing to?
Yes.
Just directing out? Okay.
Because outbound would be going to a different HTML or URL.
Sorry, it's funny. You know, I feel like I know Salesforce decently. You get to integration stuff, and it's just a brick wall for me.
Same.
Never apologize. We're not going to allow you to apologize for having a question.
The only dumb question is the one not asked.
Smart.
I want enhanced domains for dummies right now.
I think if you have Premier support, they'll walk you through it. No, I'm kidding. No, that's not true.
You just ruined Premier support winter break.
There's only like 15 of us here. We'll be all right. That's not true. I'm just making jokes. What else we got going on today, guys?
This is the hardest thing, and I took this test. Boy, I had to take this test maybe 8 times. I'm just blurting out things. I'm also starting my own trading card. Well, that's too soon. That's too soon. Sorry.
Did you take a test recently, Stuart?
No, this was literally like over a year ago. But I'll share. You're gonna have the dumbest person on the call try and explain how this works. Are you seeing a screen that's
Yes.
called OAuth 2? And I didn't write this, but when Dale said, does anyone have like a picture that we can talk about this? Yeah, there's a picture. It's not what Dale asked for, but when we talk about like how does this work? So your browser is the client, or your Salesforce page is the client. And when you think about, well, I'm going to log in to Salesforce to get both my authentication and my authorization. My authentication is who I am and can I log in? And then my authorization is, am I able to actually have access to that content on that page? And so there's code or some sort of validation here on the authorization server, and that can be your identity provider or your service provider. And Salesforce can be both of them. Most likely is not. At our organization, there's an Oracle server that's the identity provider, and then Salesforce is the service provider. But you'll start that session with an authentication. Well, you'll submit your login credentials, and you'll get a response back saying that you are authenticated, you are who you say you are. And then you'll send back a confirmation of consent for the content on the Salesforce page. And so this is that authentication and authorization loop that you go through, and this is part of that SAML cycle. Now, why this matters to enhanced domain is that there are these endpoints that are being used for the authorization and the authentication. And so when we go and change the domain name, the enhanced domain, and all of the sandboxes under it, then this changes any user that goes in to do those authentication and authorization loops. It also makes it a little bit easier long term, because if you've got certifications that you're applying for this server and any servers that are like downstream of this, they now kind of all have the same root name. You don't have like this site.com and that site.com. They're all now encapsulated under the same my.salesforce.com enhanced domain, and then underneath it you might have more children domains. I don't know that helps anybody to understand this better of what and why is going on, but there you go.
Stu, you crushed it. We should do a whole OAuth integration call one time, and we'll really melt
I
everybody.
mean, it's recorded, so you can come back to it.
And remember, I failed this test 6 times, so I'm not very smart on this one.
No, but I mean, like OAuth for admins, security for like that, those, we may not get 100% of it, but no, I think Squire's onto something there. That needs to be a session somewhere.
I'll offer that the integration part of the architect, like those hands-on learning things through the academy, are great, and they really drill into this, but it's like a 2-day session and you need like 2 months to process.
Gotcha.
There's nothing in the chat, nothing on success, nothing in email. So the door is open to anything anybody wants to talk about. It doesn't even have to be a problem. Is there anything top of mind?
Do you have your hand up? Is Christy's hand up, or did you just like wave and then your hand popped up?
Oh, no, I was just moving. Sorry. But if no one has anything, does anyone know how I can get a sample of Manufacturing Cloud? Because I tried to go through whatever they told me and it didn't work, and I still don't have it. I'd love to play with one.
Maybe.
Stuart has all the magic.
Stuart's gonna Google it right now.
I'm gonna look up a couple
Gonna do
things
the
here.
thing. It's gonna do the thing.
Mine directed me and I ended up with a temporary, one of those 30-day things. And I'm like, no, that's not what I needed.
Well, that's might be the best I can do.
That's how all of them are, but supposedly if you work with your AE and you kind of set the hook, like I'm interested in maybe making a purchase, they can flip a switch to keep it persisting.
Did you say manufacturing cloud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'll put a link in here. These are only 30-day sign up trials. There's 2 versions of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I can't do better than 30 days for you.
No, that's fine. It gets
Well-
me to peek at it and play with it a little. That's all.
Well, so does that connect to an actual living, breathing org, or is it like a freestanding dev org?
Yes.
It has pre-built industry manufacturing capabilities. I don't know that answers your question.
I just, I always like, I take a step back whenever I see free trial of, okay,
It's a
does it mean
freestanding
something
org.
that's
One-
already in production as like its baseline?
Yeah, there's 2 options. There's one with sample data and fully featured trial experience. The other one is an unconfigured manufacturing cloud with no data on it.
Okay.
So it's one of those choose your own adventure books. You get to choose which direction you want to go.
Okay.
And
Just trying to learn more. So I might try both.
one little side note on that too. So I recently was doing a financial services cloud evaluation with the 30-day. Even though my 30 days are up, I'm still able to get into my org. I'm wondering if the 30 days is the 30 days of inactivity versus the normal 6 months that you wait for everything else. I don't know that for sure. And if I log in right now, maybe I don't have access, but yesterday I was well over my 30 days and I could still get in. So it could be a fluffy 30 days too, for all we know. So I highly recommend the one with data because most of the Trailhead modules align with those loaded ones if you're doing some sort of side-by-side comparisons. So
Okay. Thanks.
we're jumping in there. Sorry.
Michael has a question on the duplicate records component.
So I don't usually use the component because I work with nonprofits, but one of my orgs had it, one of my new clients had it on the page. In most of my clients, we just look at a report of duplicate record items. And when you delete them, then you've got no more duplicates. How do you get that component if you want to tell it, nope, those 2 are not actually duplicates, even though you think they are? Deleting the duplicate record items does not tell the component to stop whining.
Are you deleting the child records that connect to the dupe set? Because there's 2 records that make up the dupe match. We delete the top one and they go away.
I tried deleting the top one. Didn't do anything. Also tried deleting both of the bottom ones.
Did you clear your cache?
Many times.
Okay. Incognito?
I feel like in the past, like when I would run into like that, where they're like, no, these are duplicates, and it just keeps telling you that they're duplicates, they're duplicates, they're duplicates. Like, think about what like items are matching up. And if there's a way for you to do something very simple to not make them match as a workaround, which is not really scalable at all. But if it's one of those things where you just keep like running into the same 2 records, like every time you're doing this thing, I hate it. I hate the answer, but there it is.
But so it is the understanding of the people on this call that the duplicate record items are what feed that component.
It's the set, not the individuals, but yes.
Okay, the set.
Because that's why like when you run like an ad hoc job, they show up. It's because you created all those juke job parent records, and then the children just are linked to it. And if you don't actually clean it up, even if you do the merge, it remains in your list. That's really weird. I mean, we're doing this constantly, and that's exactly how we clear it up. That's crazy.
I will keep poking around, but thank you for at least confirming how I thought it should work, and yeah, thank you.
You said you actually deleted those records and it still shows up?
No, by those records, the duplicate record items, not the contacts, but yes.
Oh.
Is there, so when duplicate
Ah.
rules fire, does anything get stored on a second class object? Like, aren't there duplicate objects?
Yes.
Yep.
Makes me wonder if something's
there are.
not getting cleared out there.
Yeah. I would imagine so. Because there's reporting, there's notifications and reporting that happens behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Or Jack asks, are the deleted dupes in the recycle bin? I mean, as that potential, yeah, or
Well,
that. I mean,
the deleted duplicate record items probably are. Interestingly, once of course, I've been doing this with a fake second contact of me. Once I delete the second version, the component clears immediately.
I know when we first used it, we had so many times where we ran it and it said, yep, we merged these contacts, and it actually never did. We would go back into the system and boop, there's duplicates again. It actually never did a thing.
so that makes me wonder if recycle bin is potentially a culprit, because even when you merge, it shows the old record as still a record, but with is deleted true. Is the logic not considering just records where is deleted equals false? It's just saying, oh, found 2 records. It doesn't care the deleted status. I don't know, just a thought, but
When you do the merge, Michael, are you using the button on the record, like the parent record, or are you doing it under the covers?
So what I'm trying to test right now is not doing the merge, but this org usually uses the button on the component.
Right.
But in a nonprofit context, that's not the right way. You should use the NPSP contact merge tab, which
Right.
cleans up the excess household. And
but
that's
is
why
that leveraging the actual merge functionality that came standard on the platform day one?
I don't know what it leverages, what NPSP's merge leverages off the top of my head.
This is just the standard. These might be duplicate records component you're talking about, right?
That's correct. Yeah. I'll play around, and if I figure it out or don't figure it out, I'll let you know in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
really
I
a
mean, if you're
fix to
taking
the
time
prop-
off for winter break, let that bake while you're off and then come back to it first of the year, because it's what, 15 days that is deleted records get merged or purged.
It's not really a fix, but if it's just annoying to see it, you can just make a checkbox that says like ignore dupe and then hide that component if it's checked.
Put a piece of duct tape over the check
Yeah,
engine
right.
light.
Like
That'll fix
cover the
it.
check engine light with a little bit of tape.
I'm curious in the NPSP package, because it does leverage household, is it actually showing you the duplicate of something else entirely, but it shows up on contact? I'm throwing darts here.
No, it's definitely contact dupes.
Hold on. Okay, stupid question. Never worked with NPSP. Is household the account object or is it a custom object?
It's the account object, the household. Right. If you're using the standard NPSP 3 household account model, which we are, which this client is, it's an account.
Okay.
It's a record type of account.
Record type of account.
That's
Gotcha.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's weird.
I would say let it bake over winter break and see what happens when
Yeah,
you
I
come
mean,
back.
if you're not doing anything this weekend, I'll come down. Let's sit in front of your computer and work on it.
Let me play around a bit, but I may take you up on that eventually, Squire. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd really like to see what's going on because, like I said, we use it all the time and we deal with this like what you're describing. exactly the way I'm describing it, and it works. And I'm like, why wouldn't it work? It makes no sense. So I want to know, because maybe ours is broken and we don't realize it, and then like you're dealing with the real action. So
I'm about to exercise the informal and relax, but still keep it professional. I have this mental movie going of the two of you sitting in a room wearing the matching MVP sweatshirts, just hitting the browser refresh, the F5 key, like, how about now? How about now? How about now?
I have a sitcom theme song going in the background as well. So yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm glad you said sweaters and not PJs.
I'm about those.
The PJs are under the sweaters.
There you go. Yeah, it's Friday.
Ooh, friends, oh my.
So, Marty, you want to get us back on the rails? Please.
No, thank you. My question had to do with images, and I just tried to do it in my demo org, and it worked. So I know I've done it correctly, but in my client org, which I can't show you, in my client org, I'm still getting that little dumb little blobby thing. So
when you say you're getting the blob, like what? In case y'all didn't see chat, the question is Marty is trying to get an image to appear in an email signature, which Daniel Malone I know has solved for. I think he's even gotten it up to a GIF as the image as well. But so where are you then seeing just the blob? Is it in the org? Is it on an email?
no, on an email. So like I said, I did the exact same steps in my demo org with a different image, and I'm seeing the image correctly. So I've had this problem before.
Well, right, but but what I'm saying though is like when.
So I'm on a contact, and I go to click on image, and I've updated the personal settings of the client I'm working on.
Right.
And all I see is the blob, but when I do it in my demo org,
you're saying
I see the blob.
This is in the Salesforce UI. This is not through Outlook, through a sent email. This is actually in the
Just
UI.
on the contact record when I click on email.
Okay.
And the image source is very long now. So I do I create the public link, I display it, I right click, copy the image link, and the image link is very long, but
so
anyway, you can move on.
No.
Like I said,
I want to make sure that we're speaking the same language on things here, because
I'm just
Sorry, I'm just typing things. I should actually be saying that. So it's in your sandbox. It looks good, but in production,
in a dev org, a different image looks correct. But in my client, I'm a consultant, so in my client org with an image that I did the exact same steps, I'm still seeing that silly little blob.
and this is after you sent the email out.
No, before.
Oh, so it's still in like a template mode?
Well, saying, yeah, the basic mode, but it displays correctly. My other image displays correctly, but now.
So I guess the reason I keep coming back to this is you keep saying contact. I've never had a problem with it on the user record.
Excuse me?
So you're doing it from the contact record. I've never had a problem with doing that with the signature and the image on the user record. So
why would I be on the, I'm sending, I'm a person. I'm a Salesforce user. So.
I mean, you're sending to a person, but it's your signature, right, Marty?
Correct, my signature.
Just like Dale's got here. So it's in your signature, in your user record. you can see it like Dale's got it up right now, but when you send it out, it doesn't work.
But I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm on the email under the personal information piece. I'm on the email. But keep going. No, keep going. Below, keep on the left. Below
Like in the
display.
emails drop down.
Keep going. Keep going. Email. Yeah, there. My email settings.
Uh-huh.
This is where I'm adding the signature.
Oh. And you've actually
I'm
gotten
following
into
the-
work here because
I'm
this is a
following
plain
the
text box.
Right. I'm following
Right.
the instructions in the help document. Maybe that's my problem. I'm following the instructions in the help document.
I guess
Dale, you can add HTML stuff here.
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
so you're getting
Okay.
into adding HTML, whereas the workaround solution that we know we've shown in the past is a rich text field on the user object, and then you just reference that field as the running user. Because it makes me wonder if there's something in your org that doesn't like the HTML, or like when you say your client's org.
No, but I just swapped out the image that worked with the image that doesn't, and it doesn't in my dev org either.
So I'm curious, the HTML, the reason that you get that weird pop-up is because it can't render the image of the HTML, right? Like you're giving it a path that can't.
Correct.
So I'm curious if, like, the source link is likely to change between orgs. Have you, but you re-uploaded the source image and then reconnected like the HTML string and it still doesn't work?
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, that's
is
right.
Is it in a private folder or is it in a public folder?
No, it's in, I did the public thing.
Okay, cool. All right.
The images,
Okay,
is there a
yeah.
checkbox that say share externally or?
No, you create the public link, so that's all right. I'll play around with it. But this is the document that I just put in the chat that thank you. I've had this image before. I've had this problem before. Sometimes I think maybe it's a time issue because my other image was there.
Wonder if it's on that line 5 in the add the image to your email signature. That line 5 says enter image source equals link here and then the dash.
Yep.
I mean,
no, that's correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
It's able to find that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You put it in. All right.
Is it a exceptionally large image?
No,
Like
in
file
fact,
size?
I was worried about that, so I just made a new one that's really small. So
Have you tried just sending a test email with it to see if it actually renders once the email is sent?
oh, that's a good idea. Okay, good idea. I'll try that. We can go on to other people's questions. Thank you very much.
I really want to figure this one out.
That's a good idea.
Me too.
I mean,
Oh,
I
Marty,
know-
they just
I
wanna
know
keep
everybody's
looking at
getting
it.
sick of hearing my voice, but for what it's worth, this workaround has never not worked. So I'll shut up. I know y'all are sick of hearing my voice, but
Not
Oh,
sick
oh,
of
yeah.
Dale. And rich text is what I had done back when I worked at a particular logistics company you're familiar with.
Did Daniel write a blog? Do you have I don't know if you have a link to what because I also followed this and it worked for me in my test.
it wasn't a blog, it was I think it was a presentation actually.
Yeah, I remember his presentation. He did a great job.
I have one other idea, really low tech, but the link here, source link, has double quotes around it. Are you getting the rich text double quotes or the tick double quotes? Sometimes Windows or Word converts that, and when you cut and paste it, it looks the same, but they're not the same, and it can't render the string. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like it's the same thing that happens if you cut and paste a dash from Word into Salesforce into like a, I don't know, like in our case, we had trouble with like a profile, we had dashes and would convert it to that long dash, not the hyphen, but like the text dash, and then it wouldn't work because they're actually two different ASCII values. If you
Oh.
type the quotes, but paste the link, do you get a better out or do you get a different outcome?
Oh.
Thank you, Jack. That's exactly right.
I'll try that. Thank you.
It's
Yeah, thank you.
low tech. It probably isn't the problem, but I like to hit it with the big hammer first. So
That happened to me in a flow, Squire. Had the wrong curly quotes.
yep. And it looks right. You stare at that thing and it works exactly. That's exactly what I wanted. It's not. So someday if I meet you all for a drink, I'll share my a project I did in college that all boiled down to a single versus a double quote and spending like 40 hours trying to solve a code problem that was in the first line. So, and then I'll drink and cry and you can hug me.
Okay, I do have. Way back in 2018, I wasted 4 hours on a trailhead that I couldn't figure out, and it was because I didn't actually capitalize a letter that trailhead had capitalized.
Yeah, brilliant.
Marty, are you uploading the image to documents or are you uploading it to files?
Files.
Yeah, I seem to still like using the old method of logging into
That was gonna be
classic.
my, yeah, that's just gonna be my next
It's like
series of tries. Thank
that's-
you, yeah.
that's tested and, you know,
Yeah.
true and tested, it works. And all of a sudden they got rid of documents and Lightning. It's like, oh,
I was going that same direction. Thank you.
So, did any, like, did we cover everything that we've covered today? I had one thing that I wanted to like make everyone aware of. This was something that made me crazy. Salesforce, when you make a new field, it used to be field name, underscore field name, underscore field name, double underscore C, right? And now it just like smushes the words together. There's no underscore in between the words in field names, like the auto API name. But Trailhead has not updated to match. And so if you just go with like that default like API name, it won't pass the challenge.
When did that happen?
Well, I tripped on it a couple weeks ago and I was really like cranky about it, but I was like, there's so many that it's going to be a minute before like they catch up to updating anything to
Well,
that. But
No. I'm not the trailhead, the actual auto.
I realize that. I don't remember what release that was or if that was something anyone said anything about, but I stumbled on it and I was like, what is happening?
I did not know that. Thank you for
What?
sharing.
That actually kind of sucks.
I've never seen that. And I
Um,
could swear I made fields yesterday that had it.
Yeah, me too.
I made some this morning and I didn't see it, but I know you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, Joy, so I was keeping an eye out for it.
It's one of
too.
those things where like I keep it I don't know if it's a version thing or if it's a addition thing. I have no idea.
Are you
I
I
running
wonder if
any
it's
extensions?
instance, maybe the
possibly?
instance that you're
It's
Organized?
possible, but I don't think we've installed anything that would be doing that right now. I see what you did. Smarty pants.
So now you do it, Joy. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Come
want to
on,
see.
Joy, come on. Open up a production org and show us your stuff.
No,
I'm kidding.
I'm
Don't
not
do
allowed. I'm not
No,
allowed.
but I mean,
to
this is
be
like,
prod.
It is problematic though, because at our org, we do everything camel case. And
But
every now and then for our dictionary, we
This
have
was
to,
playgrounds. This was in my Trailhead playgrounds. But I did notice it happening and I was like, what is happening? I'm so confused. And so if I can get into Trailhead without trying to force me into a new trailblazer.me, that'd be great. I don't want to go in that one.
don't do it.
I
Don't do it.
don't wanna.
I argue a lot with my computer. It's a fun thing.
Stuart, thanks for mentioning that term camel case. I'm looking it up and understanding what that means now.
What's the other one that's similar?
Snake case. It's from camel
Wow.
case for a snake case.
Pascal
I've
case.
never heard of the word term snake.
What's
Yeah.
the difference? Anyone, what's the difference?
Well, camel case is capitals, so you get humps in the name.
Mhm.
Versus snake case has got the underscores, so it looks like a big long
Yeah.
snake of words.
And then it's an easy way to know, like if your developers all use camel case for new fields or new variables, then you know this was ours versus Salesforce always does it that way. So it's theirs. And then you can find out, well, how many times did Salesforce use the task ID in their objects? because they screwed it up and we have to go back and fix all their wrong numbers. And
Isn't
if
there
they're-
also
Trailhead is
arrow
old.
in
It's
like
still doing it.
JavaScript?
what?
Okay. Isn't there arrow case in JavaScript too? I think there's one more case, isn't there?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's got double greater thans feeding, I think, for functions or something like that. I'm grabbing it because it's Friday and my brain turned off 3 days ago.
Java's all capitals.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Okay, so here we go. I'm definitely in a playground. I'm not in a org. And I am looking at the wrong screen to share my screen. So hold on a second. Share, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, share. Hey, you guys don't care about that. All right, so cancel. Account object, new field. Checkbox, boring, right? Namespace, namespace, name, right?
So
Huh.
cool.
That's cool.
So this isn't a playground, like it's in a super badge playground, that I like spun up and then didn't get back to yet. But holy crap, like, especially because it's happening in the playgrounds against the trailhead challenges and whatnot, it's going to be a,
It's
Fail.
not happening for me.
And it's not happening for me.
It's gonna
But you're-
fail.
So you're positive it's not a Chrome extension? Because like I see.
oh, I got lots going on up here. No, I'm not positive. I've got a lot going on up here. I'm not positive, but
Good.
yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
wondering, is there some sort of user interface setting that allows that to convert to camel case that
I
anyone's
don't
ever
know.
seen?
But this is a brand, like a brand spanking new org. 1114, right? It's
Try it in a different browser or a private browsing window. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a Chrome extension doing it.
yeah, I don't think I have the login information to log in. But I will check it. But if it's a Chrome extension, then that actually like will answer a lot of problems, I guess. I just felt like such a crazy person. I was like, what is happening? So
I'm kind of jealous. I'd rather have camel than all the underscores, but
well, I don't have a preference either way. It's just when it comes to the trailhead challenges, it's like, oh, the API name has to be this way. And then my default is not jumping. that way.
Mm.
And
This
I'm
was
gonna be the
really
old
weird.
man sitting on his porch saying, get off my lawn and don't sell me your aftermarket products like Chrome extensions, but that's just me.
I will try it on my other computer and see what happens. But this was for the approval process troubleshooting super badge that I
Well,
had issues with. I had to log a case because I wasn't getting.
don't do it on another computer. Like, you're on a PC, do you have Edge or Firefox or
so-
anything that just isn't Chrome?
Yeah, no, can't. Like, no,
Not even,
No.
not even a Microsoft browser?
nope, can't do stuff. Can't do stuff. It's all right.
What do you mean you can't?
There's like, this is the work computer, so there's limits here. There's limits.
Right, but they let you take even Edge off of it?
There's,
I thought that was like bolted to the,
but I don't have passwords for this, or I don't have passwords to get in. I can't get it. Can't get to it. So anyway, that's me. That's where I'm at, guys.
That was cool though.
Hey, did you? It's a magic trick now, right? It's a
Yeah.
magic trick now. So, oh, it's still underscores Michael. Darn it! Why is this happening? I'm gonna.
And I just spun up a brand new trailhead playground while you were talking, and it still does underscores for me in the brand new one too. So it's
Okay.
gotta be a Chrome extension.
So it's a brand new, like, standard playground. The super badge, this particular super badge, there's like a specific one you had to sign up for. So maybe there's something to that also. I don't know. I'm really-
Actually, now that you mentioned that it's the super badge and the special org, I think I have some vague memory of that happening.
So you think maybe it's like that super badge playground situation?
Yeah.
It is a quirky little like space.
so
Not,
Like I think there was like, is it the third, which one is it of the series?
This is, I believe it's the second of the series of the approval process one, because the first
Yeah.
one, like
I got the first one done, no problem. The second one, I think I ran it now that it's like, it was months ago but yeah, I think I have that, remember that's what mucked me up.
Hmm.
I do have a question about super badges. Now that we're talking about super badges, I think there are a couple super badges that actually require you to set up a Heroku instance in order to complete. And since they're changing, is this even? Can I say this out loud? Maybe I shouldn't say this out
it's
loud.
going away, I heard, right? It's changing drastically.
Changing the
Hmm.
pricing structure.
They're changing the pricing structure. Now that Kathy said that, I can repeat it. I believe they're changing.
I Googled it yesterday, so
Okay, okay,
it's an
so
article.
it's out on the internet now. They're
Yeah.
changing the way that they're doing Heroku in 2023. I'm wondering, can we still complete those super badges?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe if you spin them up quick, but
Or they may have a special agreement
A
for
special
it.
way to get those. Yeah, possibly. I'm hoping so.
I don't know. I just remember, when was it? Oh, it was about 3+ years ago. I did some of the AWS badges. And I ended up having to pay like $2 US. Yeah, and of course
Yeah.
it's US, so of course it's like 3 million Canadian, but but it's like I ended up having this account that kept charging my credit card, and it's like, wait a second, this was for a stupid badge, like just cancel.
Which that I believe that was true for one of the first like machine learning or whatever badges. You had to buy a little device, and it was all of $5 or whatever. And but I do remember getting that and then thinking I could complete the badge now. So yeah. Really cool stuff.
So
With the last 30 seconds, I just had a really quick show of hands. Has anybody downloaded and used the permission authentication tester app thing that came out with the most recent release? And what are thumbs up, thumbs down if you're using it? It's great in my opinion. So I'm just curious.
what the user and permission, it's called user and permissions, the Salesforce Lab one?
Right?
It must be Labs. Yeah, it was released like GA and recommended in the most recent release. Yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. So
Yeah.
I love it.
The
Yeah, I
user and
love it.
access permission assistant. Is that what you're?
One.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
it's nice.
Yeah, I downloaded it into a few of my clients' orgs to try to figure out what mess they've made, so. Yeah.
All right, we are at 2:00 on the button. Thank you everyone for joining for a great year, and I hope that everyone has a great holiday, and we will see you all in January. Best wishes to you and your families, and stay awesome. We'll try to keep up.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I'll be over in a little while, Michael.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. What a fantastic day. Wow.